Right, I've had an idea, and that is to make another of these long-running solar powered and, you know, Tesla Powerwall type supercap power storage things on the side, such that they can run 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. This one only uses about 0.15 volts off the 10F cap on the overnights, which means it can actually run for a good couple of days with really foul weather. That's if I have it spinning at this speed here. I've moved the rotor slightly away from the coil. It's semi-levitated, as you can see. Small gap there at the top of the pin. The circuit is by Smart Creations 2010, called the SS1CC. And I've got 5 pieces of little solar cell things here on the top to supply the power into the circuit and into the supercap. So I thought, well, I'd like to make another one using this older circuit here, because it was doing nothing, and it's over-engineered really. These coils are 2000 ohms each. It's 4 of the little dancing guy coils on each one. So yeah, with 4000 ohms of resistance. But I've got 2 of the solar cells from these things that are powering this one at the moment. You can see it's running at quite a speed compared to the original there, which is about 7 or 8 years old, and all these panel pieces are 7 or 8 years old. So it maybe shows a difference of you know, the way that these things can spin compared to the heavier structure of the flower. Also the same age is one over here, which is running a blocking oscillator, just flashing an LED, but you can see from the distance that it's running nice enough indeed from that distance there, from this 5-watt LED bulb. Anyway, back to what I'm going to do, and these 2 circuits really do show the idea, and that is this one's running clockwise, this one's running anti-clockwise, or counterclockwise. And a while ago, a few years ago, I did some experiments with remote running of another rotor, or 3 rotors I think I'd go in at one point off one powered one. So this will sit somewhere about here, and will turn in the opposite direction to that, but it won't be powered by anything. And it just could be a bit more of a interesting curio to look at over the hopeful years of the thing running in a similar way to that one. So what I'm going to do is move this circuit over, I expect, along with these 2 here, put these flat on there, or even move them onto the top of there would make some sense too. Then have another 10F supercap, same as that one, and the same kind of stage going on, and see how well perhaps that this type of a circuit works in comparison to the SS1CC. They should be pretty similar. But anyway, to make another runner. So the first thing I've done is to desolder the 2 panels from there, and I've put them on the top. I think that is going to be the best thing to do, and then I can shield perhaps the circuit, or definitely the supercap, from the sun, from especially summer sun, so it doesn't all dry out or something. So what I'm going to do is glue these to the top, and I won't use super glue because, well, you can see on the left one there's a gap there where super glue pulled the back off, and I also lost this panel recently. It's one of my best ones for tiny size, and I pulled half the back of it off. So I'm going to use this stuff instead, just simple tacky glue. It's like a white glue stuff, and that should mean that they could be removed in the future if needed. But also hot glue would tend to, over time, it might deteriorate and the things would fall off anyway. So that's the first bit, and while that's drying I'll tidy up this wiring, take off these 2 and replace with probably 30 gauge single strand to run over to these panel pieces, and I'll move that circuit further forward, probably have the supercap about there. I've taken the wires off that were coming out here, move the circuit up to there, and the next thing is to attach those 2 connections from the coils back to the circuit. Then I'll take the wires, run them around the back there and into the circuit. That's the wires done, so let's see if it auto starts still. Oh yeah. So here's the circuit finished up, and I'll check it auto starts. There we are. So what I've got is, from the solar panels now, we've got a diode into the negative of the supercap, and then coming out we've got a 10k resistor for the moment going to the negative input of the circuit. and that means that the output of the supercap can only supply a certain amount to the circuit, making it run at about this speed. The diode, of course, stops the supercap from trying to power the solar cells at night. What I'm next going to do is to tidy this up a bit. I've realised that although the solar panels are straight, the actual thing that the rotor is going round on isn't. So I think I'll straighten that up a bit, maybe put a couple more magnets on the left here, get it all the same again. But then the final thing will be to add this little fella here with something coming out to hold it, and have that spinning from the rotation of the first one. I've tidied it up by slightly dropping that tongue depressor type thing with the magnets on, and it just means everything's straightened up a bit. I mean, it's looking a bit posh for one of my builds really, but anyway, that's how I've done that now. So the next bit is to finish off with getting this thing set up. So there we are, I've gone with a matchstick and I'm just waiting for the glue to dry that's holding that magnet on, and then I can put other magnets underneath to adjust for height to keep that thing in place. And there we are, the finished project. I needed to add a couple of small magnets to each one of the four, all four facing the same direction. I'm not sure whether they're north or south, but when I spun it up it carried on going, and I say it's been going now for a couple of minutes. Very pleased indeed. That's quite the distance between the two for just working on the magnetics interference. And I've kept everything within the one tile, which is going to be of help when I put something over the top, some kind of a covering. But hopefully that'll run 24/7, 365 days a year. And it makes it a little bit more interesting to look at as well. The two semi-levitated rotors and the one seeming to spin with no circuit at all. Okay, hope you enjoyed the build and thanks for watching.